Hi everyone, this is Abel. Welcome back to my channel. I see a few people in the chat, so let me know if everything is going correctly, if the video is videoing, if the audio is audioing, because I'm never lucky with this kind of things, especially with live streams. It always ends up imploding on itself. So please let me know if everything is working properly. I'm sorry. So yeah, it's been 2 years. Can you imagine? I'm really struggling with trying to understand the fact that I've been doing this for 2 full years. Yeah, it is kind of crazy. And I still remember exactly the feeling that I had at the beginning of the of September 2 years ago when sorry, I went asking myself, should I be doing this, really doing this? And if you watch, or actually don't watch that first video of 2 years ago, the first thing that I say is, should I be doing this? Are we actually doing this? And then I answer myself, yeah, let's do this. But I wasn't absolutely sure about that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the live stream to celebrate 2 years of books with Abel. And also, this is a special day. And if you've been around all the other social media websites, X especially, X Twitter, or Instagram, or TikTok, or Blue Sky, or Threads, you have seen the cover of the book. But we will talk about the cover reveal for the second book in a bit. Now, let me say hi to a few people that are already in the chat. The very first, Yaniv has a very good question. And I have searched on my Goodreads with the stats of 2025. I'll give you an answer in a bit. Okay, let me say hello to the others. Let's see who's here. Alex G. Gear, the man and the author, the one who has the best name and surname of every other author because it sounds so good and it rolls down your tongue in such a special way. And I actually pronounce it pretty well because it is G. Gear. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Alex, for your congratulations. I'm excited too to let you know more about the story and to show you how the character develops and how the world expands and all the rest. And then we have Reader in the Desert, Sarah Beth. Thank you so much for your congratulations, and thank you so much for being here. This really means a lot for me because this community, it actually has been a positive force in my life. It has made everything, the whole experience of reading and sharing books, much more meaningful on a very deeper way. Because I always loved yapping about books, but I struggle to find people which would share this kind of passion with. And let me say hello to this one, who's actually my niece using my sister's phone. This is Adele. Thank you for being here, honey. Thank you so much. So this it's been a bunch of years, a very intense bunch of years. And if you have seen the channel, it has changed so much. It is so much different. It looks different. And I think I have become a little bit better at booktubing because I'm much more confident and shooting videos and editing videos. I think that the quality has improved. But I don't think that the core of the channel, the basics stuff of the channel had changed at all. Because, the basic stuff is always the same. It is my desire to read good science fiction fantasy books, more fantasy than science fiction lately, but I'm working on that, and to share more science fiction with you. But basically the idea is to share those, and especially books that struggle a little bit in finding an audience, or from debuting authors, especially independent authors. Those really struggle to find an audience and to have really anyone talking about those books or having any kind of reviews. So my goal was that one, to be a positive force to share those books and to help those authors to have a little bit of visibility. Another one, Capricious Fox. Congratulations on the BookTube anniversary and cover reveal. Surprising how I just bought the first book just before the second book release. I must be unconsciously psychic. Absolutely. Yeah. The stars are starring. They're connecting in the right way. This is serendipity. Bookish serendipity in the best way. So good job. Well, the next book will be released April 29, 2026. The first one was released April 29, 2025. So it will be 1 year, perfectly 1 year, okay? So I'm pretty proud of that, actually, of being that consistent. And I hope I'll be able to be that consistent with the ending of the series, will be the third book in 2027. That one is a little bit longer, and that is the harder to write, because we have to wrap up all the stories and all the character development. So it will be kind of a challenge to be able to finish it in time 1 year later, because I have this disadvantage for this one, that for the first two books, that they were already written in Italian. And even if I had to work a lot to tweak the first book to make it viable for the international market, the book was there. Okay, I had to work to make it better and to make it professionally edited and all the rest. But I had this back catalog already written. The third one, I'm writing it as I develop the second one, and I translate the second one, and I get it ready for the publication. So I'm not sure if I will get to hit the 2027 mark in April the same way. But if I get to publish it in 27 by the end of the year, it will be 1 year and maybe an half. I will be happy anyway, okay, if I get to 2027. And if we have to wait to 2028, oh wait, again, we'll wait. And that's one is another my friend. That's my friend from Italy, Alessandro Sisti. Congratulations of the outstanding achievement. Yeah. Clapping hands. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alex. This means a lot for me. So about the BookTube channel, as I told you, it changed a lot on the aesthetics. I think that the lighting is better, the image quality is better, the audio sound is a little bit better. I don't think that the channel changed so much in the contents. I have shared hundreds of books, and I have dozens of reviews. So you can start with the first one and end one with the one that I shared in the last week, and you'll find beautiful covers, beautiful synopsises, and reviews and previews and reading updates. You can follow me on Goodreads to see actually how fast or slow I read. But I think that goal to share lesser known book from independent authors, especially, I hit that goal. And I'm happy that independently published authors, they know that they have a safe space here, that they have someone who will unconditionally hype their book, trying to be helpful, trying to have a consistent and deep discussion about their books, because my review are never short. If I end the book, if I finish a book, it is because I enjoyed the book. If I'm reviewing the book, it is generally a positive review, and it generally goes pretty in depth with the characters and the plot, trying to be vastly spoiler free. Okay, sometimes I go a little bit deeper in the setup to give you an idea of how the story starts and how the character works, but I try really hard to be spoiler free generally. In my opinion, at least, I know that many people really love to go blind and jump inside of the book blind and know absolutely nothing about those. But yeah, I'm trying. And I've met so many people and had so many incredible experience sharing those books, one of which is the SPFBO. And I have a question actually here. Yanni asked, have you considered entering SPFBO in the future? Okay, I have, but I'm not sure if and when and how fast. So let me preface this. If you if you're a recent subscriber and you haven't been following me for since the beginning, you may not know that I've been a judge, a sub-judge for the SPFBO, which is this huge competition for fantasy books, independently published fantasy books, where the goal is to share and give visibility to those high quality fantasy books with various groups of bloggers and reviewers and booktubers reviewing a bunch of books. And then there's this mechanism of finalists. And the winner usually gets a lot of eyes on the book and a lot of reviews. And it's a free way to have many considerate reviews and people, really passionate people, really competent people giving you insightful reviews, and becoming a little bit famous, a little bit popular in this community, in the fantasy community. So I had the pleasure and the honor to be part of the team guided by Professor Philip Chase last year, and it was an incredible experience because I was assigned books that were outside my comfort zone. They were not exactly the things that I would usually go and buy on a store, but all of those books, they were competently written. A few of those I really loved. And I enjoyed the process of reviewing the books and to post videos about each and every one of those books, and then doing a wrap-up of all the books and announcing my favorite from my bunch, which was not the winner of my bunch and was not actually the winner of the competition, but it had this nice little bit of an award on my part for that one. So I really loved the experience. This year, we didn't have a regular edition of the SPFBO because there's been some kind of a jubilee, because all the winners of the last 10 years, they went on an internal competition to try and see who's the better. I think it's symbolic mostly of those last 10 winners. So we didn't have a regular edition of the SPFBO. Next year, I hope I'll have the chance to be again a judge. And if I am a judge, I cannot compete, of course. I know it will be useful for me to be part of the competitors, to have those reviews and that kind of a resonance in the community, to have so much people giving attention to my book. But to be honest, to be completely honest, 100% honest, I don't think I actually need that at the moment, because I'm really lucky for the platform that I have, because I have the BookTube channel. I have a pretty steady following on X and on Instagram and TikTok. In the grand scheme of things, these are really small numbers, but I understand that it has been incredibly much easier for me to gather any kind of attention. Just to give you a few numbers, I had almost 300 pre-orders for my book before it was released in April. And I had 170, I think, e-arc sent before the release of the book. And I had around 10 or 15 reviews on the day of launch. These are small numbers, by the way. I know, I understand it, but the other authors who are 100% authors and they don't have this kind of resonance, they don't have a channel, they don't have the kind of organic connection that I have built during the years, it is increasingly difficult. It's much more difficult for them to have any kind of relationship with people and readers who potentially know absolutely nothing about them. So yeah, I would love to participate. I would love to be a competitor. But by now, I would rather be a judge to try and help other authors have some kind of visibility and to grow my audience organically by sharing the book, by sharing the reviews from others, by talking about my books. I should talk about my book a little bit more in my channel, I know, but it takes so much time to organize and shoot and record videos for the others that I usually end up having no time for my own book. But I'm planning to be better about this. because doing advertisement for your own book, it is difficult because you don't want to be annoying. Okay. You don't want people to be bored about you. And my channel started as a review channel, as a preview and review channel. And I don't want to turn the tables on the YouTube channel and transform it to just an instrument to make advertisement for my books. That's not the goal of the channel, will never be the goal of my channel. But I can absolutely do a little bit better about sharing my own book. Thank you for this question, Yaniv. And I have another couple of questions that you have sent me via email, on TikTok, on Instagram, via DM, and I don't think I'll be able to answer all of those questions because I'm trying to keep this live stream a little bit shorter and easy to digest, even for people who will watch it on replay, maybe on YouTube. So thank you for all the questions. I will not be able to answer all of those via live here, but I will absolutely give you my answer directly via DM. Okay. Let me see. What's one thing that you have learned about yourself since starting BookTube? I think that the most important thing has been that I really don't need to force myself to shoot and edit a video when I am not in the mood to do it. Because, one of the things that I tell you to grow organically a BookTube channel is to try and be consistent. If you select one day of the week when you usually post a video, you upload a video, you should try to do it every week. I was in a slightly different position because I didn't have uploads every week. I had it maybe every 2 weeks or every 10 days. So that was not exactly my position. But I have been a couple of times in a position when I was too tired, maybe I was sick, maybe I was actually in the mood to talk about any books because I had read too little in the previous days. I really didn't want it. And a few times at the beginning of the channel, when it was really small, not that now it's that huge of a channel, but we have more than 1,000 subscribers, right? I tried to force myself. I tried to post the videos to be consistent. And I think that the quality was kind of the same. They were good videos anyway, even if I was not exactly 100%. I was not in a winning position. But the consequence was that I got even more tired and even sicker after doing that. And I realized that it isn't worth it, that this small community is populated with people that really appreciate the kind of effort that it takes to shoot and edit and produce this kind of videos, so they're willing to wait. And I'm really, really lucky about it because I actually didn't have any kind of dip in the follower count because of the time and the long stretches that I took some time in between uploads. And it has been the same lately because I wasn't able to upload anything for more than three weeks from the second part of August to the beginning of September because I had technical issues here because nothing was working. And when I restarted uploading, everything was fine. People were there. They were waiting for my videos, and they were happy to watch it whenever I was able to upload them. So I have learned to be a little bit less anxious about my schedule and focusing more on trying to make each and every video worth the watch because they're not short. They're usually almost every time more than 30 minutes long. Yeah, thank you for your patience and for your willingness to watch and listen to such long videos. What has surprised you the most about being a booktuber? I think that it has been kind of a balance act in understanding that all the very enthusiastic connection that I had at the beginning, a few of them were not exactly organic. And what I mean by that is that I have learned and I've met a lot of very good people, really interesting and really smart and really competent people. And a few of them organically, we have become friends. So we're keeping contact, we do collaborations, I do interviews, they do interviews, we exchange idea, we try to lift each other up. And a few of those, they needed a platform, they needed my help, but then they were not that willing to give me any kind of help. Not that I pretend that kind of exchange, but it wasn't organic. And at first, when you see that you're doing so much for someone genuinely because you want to help them, and then you ask for help and you have nothing in return, not that they have to do it, but it will be nice, and that can be a hard pill to swallow, no? Especially at the beginning. For the last couple of months, the first year, it was really hard to try and understand which kind of relationship could become something a little bit more or not. But time passes, I've grown up, I understand how we generally work, and I ask absolutely nothing to people in return usually. But I think that I have much healthier relationship on social media in general by now. Let me say hi to another bunch of people. Abigail, this is another one of my niece. Hi, honey. Thank you for being here. And we have also the gentleman and scholar Christopher Nabo. Hi, Abel. Congrats on 2 years on the BookTube, as well as your awesome cover reveal. Thank you, Chris. If you don't know, Chris Nabo is an incredible booktuber, and he has something in the cans. He's working on something. He has shared a little bit about this, very little about that. But I'm really curious to see what he's working on. And you should check out his channel, absolutely. And then we have Burdenach. Hey, congratulations. Thank you for being here. Are you the one with the BookTube channel with the military sci-fi? Is that you? Let me know if that's you, because I want to shout out that channel because it's just so awesome. If it is you, shout out. I don't remember the title in that moment, but if it is you, shout out in the comments, okay? And let me search for another couple of questions that will show you again the cover. We'll talk about the book of BookTube, okay? Which video are you most proud of? Okay, I have a bunch of videos that are actually my favorites. Yeah, the channel is that one. Okay, military sci-fi booktuber here. Post the name of the channel, okay, so people can reach you on your BookTube channel. And actually, J. Alex Jigir has a BookTube channel too. He basically talk about his book, maps, development, writing, characters, and all the rest. So if you want to know more about his book from J. Alex Jigir, which is Breaking, the first one, which was released a couple of days ago, go and check out that book, that channel, and the book is called Breaking. Go and check it out, absolutely. So favorite videos. The first one is the first one that broke the first video that broke 200 views, which was the first one that I called Discovered New Sci-Fi and Epic Fantasy Gems, which is a title that I love to reuse usually because it works so well, because it attracts viewers. And it's called Discover New Epic Fantasy and Sci-Fi Gems. And I'm really, really happy about that because it was one of the first videos when I did long form reviews that were really in depth, really thoughtful, with a lot of discussions and reflections about the quality of the writing, the pacing, the characters, and the story itself. So that was the first time that I felt that it was working, that I was doing something really well, and that people were connecting with the book in a meaningful way. And it made me so happy because the authors mentioned and the books mentioned in that channel, they had spikes in sales and in views. So that made me incredibly happy. Another one is always from that series, with the same title, but it was the one that broke the 1,000 views. And I remember that one of the authors that I mentioned there, he wrote me in the inbox, mentioning the fact that he was so happy because he saw a spike in search on Google Trends because I mentioned the book. and because he had a bunch of sales because of the book, the fact that the book was in that video. And that made me so happy and so proud, because I actually had a relative certainty that it was working, that the work that I was doing was actually helping someone. So it was incredibly satisfying. And let me say hello to another one, Alejandra. Is this another one of my niece? I have a bunch of nieces. I'm happy about it. Thank you so much. Okay, so another question, just the last one. I'll show you the book. I have too many questions. I'm sorry. I'll give you answer directly via email. What has been your favorite part of being part of the BookTube community? So my favorite part is when we try to find an excuse to gather a bunch of booktuber and talk about books, because we basically enjoy our company. We like to spend time together, because I think that deep down in our core, everyone who has a booktube channel is kind of lonely in real life when it comes about books, because we struggle to find someone to connect with about books. Okay, and the fact that we can connect online via YouTube and try to have discussions that other people can enjoy, I think it's a little bit of magic. It's something really good, a little bit crazy, but it works so well. So one of the things that I enjoy so much is when, for example, I've been part of the live stream for the SPFBO, when we were discussing the books that would become finalists, okay? With Professor Philip Chase and other booktuber who were parts of this competition. Or, for example, the live read along that we do for the series Words of Shadows and Light, or Light and Shadow by Johnny Wirtz. It started in the Talking Story BookTube channel, and it continued in the BellTube BookTube channel, then on the Nerd Level Rising channel, and I had the pleasure to host it on my channel. And next time, that I think it is in October, it will be on another channel again. Those are the best kind of live streams for me, when you gather a bunch of people that are really passionate, really in love with a specific subset of books, and they want to talk about those. They want to share their ideas, their opinions, their speculations, all of the ideas that they have. And I think it's incredible, because that kind of community is so hard to find in real life. I think there is just one book club in the place where I live, but I don't think they care about fantasy, epic fantasy, sci-fi, dystopian, nothing like that. So it is really difficult to find people in real life that do that, have someone to discuss the kind of stuff. So that part of sharing and being part, sharing and caring for each other and lifting up each other and being part of this community, I think is the best one. And it has different kind of materializations. So that kind of being a part of the community doesn't mean just being part of a live stream together. Many times it is just giving us suggestions, helping each other to find the right thumbnail, to try to understand how the algorithm works. And I've been really lucky, because I've been in contact with really smart and really generous people, and I'm really happy about that. It's been an incredible experience. Okay, I'm sorry, my asthma is killing me. So what kind of goals would you like to hit next year? Okay, I don't have a goal about numbers, okay? I think I have 1,170 something followers. If I gather another couple hundred of followers or subscribers, will be good, but I'm not focused on that. My goal is to make my videos consistent, to keep them being uploaded every 2 weeks, potentially each and every week. But one of my goals is to have more live streams, because I think it's a good way to strengthen the community, to be in contact with you, and to have a really lively discussion with you and trying to stay in contact together, maybe weekly, that will be really good. But I need to reschedule a couple of things to be able of that. And life has been difficult. Life has been really difficult lately because of a bunch of stuff that I have happened in my family that they absorb so much time and effort and brain power in my daily life. So it has been a couple kind of difficult, but I want to do more live streams and more interviews, okay? And being more active and giving more space on live interviews and recorded interviews for other authors. That is kind of even more difficult because of the time gaps, okay? I have to try and select a right um, time frame that it is useful for me and for the others, because I'm on the other side of the world from all the other authors. So when it's day for me, it is morning for them. When it is evening for me, like now, it is maybe morning or midday for the others. Or if someone stays in Australia, is the middle of the night. So it is kind of tricky trying to line up everything together. But I would love to do that and to have more of that, more live streams and more interviews, okay? Okay, I had a couple of questions about the book. I'll show you the cover right now, and then I'll answer a couple of questions about this Sunrise Dagger. Keep an eye on the live stream tab of my channel, because I was in an interview yesterday here when we talked about my process and writing and reading in general, but also to think of the process behind the creation of this cover. Okay, let me see if I can upload it. Window, this one. Ta-da! The Sunrise Dagger. Isn't it cool? It's cool. It is cool, yeah? So, the general vibes are the same with this black and white and background. Do we have problems with the video? Maybe it is a little bit slower because we are trying to upload the cover, okay? So the black and white background, then we have the figure in the center, and then we have the sun. This one is a sun, the other one was a moon. And I tried to keep it consistent with the positioning of the element. The title is in the same position, the figure is in the same position, the name is in the same position, the sun/moon is in the same position. Now we have an additional element, which is this silver sparrowhawk, which is this fantastical creature that we have in the first book. If you haven't read the book, I cannot tell you much more, but if you zoom on that, on the silhouette of this bird, you'll see that there's a knight on it. There is a warrior using those huge birds in fight and in a very fast travel. Let's see if we can show you just the other cover. Okay, this is a 3D mock-up of the cover. I kind of inverted the process for the typography, because the writing in the first one was white/silver with the red, and here is black on the yellow, orangey yellow that we have here. Okay, so I'm really proud about this cover, and it looks like people really enjoy it because I did the cover reveal a couple of hours ago, and my X imploded with notification of people sharing the cover. And thank you, Sarah. I'm really proud about the cover. It looks really cool. And yeah, I have to say, I think I'm really lucky about the cover, because it works for the first one and hopefully for the second one too. They work so well that they basically sell the book by themselves. And they easily sell the book, even if I don't do a huge push on the advertisement side of things. So the decision to go for this kind of style and this kind of aesthetic, really striking, really punchy, really emotional, was the right one. Yeah, I think that it was a success. It was the right call for the kind of story that I'm telling. Capricious Fox says, non-dragon fantastical flying creature. Yay, always good to see different magical creatures in books. Yeah, I would say if you have read the books, but if you want to know a little bit more about the book, I don't really have magic in my books, in my fantasy stories, because we don't have a wizard, we don't have witches, we don't have elves, orcs, not even dragons. When you finish the trilogy, you'll understand why and the peculiarities of the setting. I think that by looking at the names of the places and of the various charges and people doing specific things in the book, you'll understand where and when that story is set. Okay, I don't want to say more because I don't want you to spoil the pleasure to understand it by yourself. But this is not your regular fantasy story, and not be just simply because it doesn't have a medieval aesthetic. If we have to make any kind of comparison with the story of our world, it mostly have a kind of a Arabic feeling, ancient Sumerian feeling, so Middle Eastern idea, really ancient Middle Eastern aesthetic. Okay, and the fact that there's no magic, it is a decision, specific decision, because of what's going on with the world building, with the ancient lore of the world. By reading the second book, you'll understand almost anything about it. By finishing the third book, you'll understand everything, and you'll see why we don't have regular magic in this story. Okay, we have several sparrowhawks, which are those giant raptor birds, because of things that I decided to do when I created the specific time frame when the story works. We'll explain that in the third book too. But yeah, you know, yeah, you haven't read the book yet. When you read the book, you'll see. And I think this is kind of a good thing, because when I read a synopsis and I find familiar elements, it's a good thing, but sometimes it can be a little bit tiring. When you have, oh, vampires again, haha, oh, werewolves again, oh, elves again, and orcs again, and all those classic species and races. These are good things because they're really familiar, they're really comforting, they know how they work. So they do a little bit of the heavy lifting of the world building for us. But sometimes you kind of wish for something different, something new. And I love the fact that many authors today, they're trying to push the boundaries of fantasy, epic fantasy, and high fantasy, trying to be original in a way, of turning those comforting tropes up on their heads and trying to make them a little bit different. But if they can do those things, those familiar things, in a very compelling way, it's not a problem for me, and I'm really happy to read of those. But sometimes, you need something a little bit different, something a little bit more original. And you'll see that in my books, we don't have magic, but we have ancient artifacts that give people supernatural abilities. They give people a heads up in fightings and in traveling and in communication. Okay, you don't have those, but you have ways to do things that regular people cannot do. Okay, so we don't have magic, but we have something else. So I think it's a good substitute of magic. Okay, we've been going on for quite a lot of time. It's almost 30 minutes. I promised myself that this was going to be short and sweet. And thank you for all the questions that you have written to me. And sorry if I wasn't able to answer every one of you during the live, but I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. The fact that I know that I have someone waiting for my videos, waiting to listen to my takes, to my super long ramblings, and to my reviews, and that they want to share the same passion that I have for up-and-coming authors, for debuting authors, for new series, for independently published people. that really struggle to find a platform to share their books, the fact that we were able to build this kind of community on those pillars is a gift. It's unique. I don't think we have many other channels doing the same thing the way we do it here, and being helpful the way we are helpful to those kind of authors. I think it's a blessing. I think it's a good thing. It's a thing that we have to cherish and to really cultivate together. And I really, really say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you for being part of the live stream. Thank you for keeping in contact with me on all the other platforms, on X, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Blue Skies, on Threads. Thank you for being an incredibly receptive and generous and smart community. It's been incredible. Thank you for your help sharing the book, sharing the first one, sharing the Sunrise Dagger. If you want to read the book before the others, if you want to be an ARC reader, you'll have links in the description with the form. If you want to read the second one, you can have a promotional copy of the first one. I cannot ask you for a review of the first one because it goes against the of the rules of Amazon. You can ask for reviews for a book which has not been published, like, for example, for the second book. But if you want a copy of the first one, if you want to read it, and if you want to do whatever you want with that book, if it is a cornerstone that helps you understand the second book, again, we have promotional copies. And you can subscribe to the newsletter. You can pre-order, actually, the Sunrise Dagger right now for 99 cents on all major market via Amazon. And I think that's all I've got for you today. It was really, really, really nice to be here. Thank you for being here again. Thank you to staying until the end of this really long video. I'll see you in the next